So there's a lot you can do in BT Town, and there's going to be a lot more in the future that we're building. But BT Town is up and running for business, and I'm going to do a demo of that. So in order to do that, so I have a BT Speak on, and let's go to the options menu
Options menu.
with Ocord. We'll do A for applications,
Applications menu.
and we'll press G for games,
Games menu.
and we will press B for BT Town.
BT Town.
We'll press enter to open that.
Announcement. Welcome to BT Town. You are in a private room. When you're ready, type G to go somewhere else in the town.
Okay, so I'm kind of in a private room. There's really nothing going on in this room, but we're going to fix that. And we're going to press G for go.
Where do you want to go? Tavern. 2 players.
Okay, so there's a bunch
No
of
response from server.
there's a bunch
Please try again.
of sorry about that. There's a bunch of rooms and places that we can go. The first is the tavern. It's telling me that there are 2 players in the tavern. So there are 2 people in there. I don't know who they are, but we'll find out in a bit. But there's some other rooms.
Town Square. 0 players.
So there's the town square in BT Town. Right now there are 0 players or people in that area.
Private room. 0 players.
There's a private room. By the way, I'm just using standard menu navigation commands to do this, just .4 chord or .1 chord.
Chapel. 0 players.
I can also press the space bar to move forward as I can in other menus, and .7 or the backspace key to move back. There's a chapel.
Game room. 0 players.
There's a game room.
Wharf. 0 players.
There's a wharf.
Tavern. 2 players.
And there's the tavern. So it's telling me there are 2 people in the tavern. And I hope that's true because otherwise I'm going to be all alone and that'll be really sad. So let's press enter and see what we hear.
You are going to tavern. Announcement. David Goldfield has entered the tavern.
Okay. So there's a lot that we're hearing here in the background. I'm in the tavern and we hear several things. First, there's some background music. We can increase or decrease the volume of that music if we want, and I'll show you how we can do that. There's also a lot of background activity. That's not from the 2 people that are in here. That's just stuff going on all the time. You'll hear, I just heard a woman laughing. I hear someone whistling, clattering, clanking dishes, all the things you would expect in a tavern. You might hear people walking back and forth.
The bartender says, "What can I get for you?" The laughter and stories here really warm the heart.
Okay, that's our AI bartender who's working 24/7 to serve food and drinks virtually to anyone who's in the tavern. And he kind of pops in from time to time, makes little comments, offers to serve you something to eat or drink.
Announcement. Keo has entered the tavern.
Okay, so we have someone else.
Announcement. Pretty Kitty has entered the tavern.
It's a very popular night for the tavern. So we have several people coming in, and as they come in, it announces them. It said Keo has entered the tavern and Pretty Kitty has entered the tavern. When you first open BT Town, you will be asked for a username. Now, you could use your first name, or in this unit, I've used my full name so everybody sees me as David Goldfield, but you can use an alias. So we have someone named Pretty Kitty. I've seen a few other aliases from time to time, and that's perfectly okay. You'll also hear, occasionally I hear a dog. I'm sure it's a service animal, so they're allowed. And I've even heard a cow once in a while, so you never know who's hanging out in this tavern. So we can do a few things while we're in here. We can actually have a one-on-one chat with the AI bartender. So let's try that. I'm going to press E for environment.
What would you like to interact with? Objects examine items in the room.
So it can give me a list of objects that are in the room.
NPCs talk to characters.
NPCs
The
are,
bartender says, "What drink can I fix you tonight?" The crackling fire adds a cozy touch to our gathering.
yeah, I guess the bartender really doesn't want me to just sit here. Really wants me to buy a drink. That's okay. NPCs, that's non-playable characters or non-player characters. NPCs are basically AI bots.
Announcement. Martin has entered the
They're
tavern.
not real people. Okay,
The bartender
someone.
says, "What's tickling your fancy tonight?" The warmth of the hearth is calling for some good company.
By the way, we can mute that bartender. So if you don't want to hear those AI announcements popping in, you can disable that and then you can re-enable it. But I'm going to choose to chat with an NPC character, and then we'll actually chat with whoever's in the room.
Available NPCs interactions. Talk to bartender.
Okay, I'm going to press enter for talk to bartender.
Announcement. Austin has entered the tavern. Chatting with bartender. Enter message. Press Z chord to exit.
Okay, so it's telling me I'm in a chat mode with the
Chris
bartender.
said, "Hi, David." Literary Braille input.
And
Theo says, "Hi, all this is for the demo."
and you, people are saying hi. Everyone's saying hi to me. Okay, so I'm gonna chat with them soon because I want to chat with some real people. But I'll do a quick chat with the bartender, and I'll just say hi. I'm just typing that in, and I'll press enter. He should respond.
The bartender says, "Hello there. Welcome to my tavern. What can I get for you today? A drink, maybe? Or perhaps you're in the mood for some local gossip?"
So I'm gonna ask,
The bartender
and
says, "What's your pleasure tonight? The ambience here is just right." Literary Braille input.
okay, I'm gonna set press .56 chord to turn on literary braille input so I can type in grade 2 braille. I'm going to write, do you have root beer? I'm a big fan of root beer. Okay, let's press enter.
The bartender says, "Absolutely. I've got some nice, frothy root beer right here. It's a favorite around these parts. Would you like a glass?"
I'm going to say, sure.
The bartender says, "Coming right up. Star, I pour a refreshing glass of root beer. The bubbles fizzing as it fills. Star, here you go. Enjoy that delightful sweetness. Anything else on your mind while you sip?" Announcement. Austin has disconnected from the room.
And I'm going to write, how about a chocolate cookie? Press enter.
The bartender says, "Oh, you're in luck. I've just baked a fresh batch of chocolate cookies. They're warm and gooey, perfect with that root beer. I'll get one for you right away." Star, I hand you a cookie. Its rich chocolate aroma wafting through the air. Star, enjoy. How's that pairing treating you?
Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to get out of this chat mode. I'm going to press Z chord.
Conversation ended.
Okay, and I'm going to
The bartender
mute.
says, "What can I pour for you?" The clinking of mugs and laughter fills the air tonight.
Now I'm going to mute him, and the way we're going to do that is to press S for settings.
Settings menu. Mute AI NPC dialog.
So I'm going to mute the AI NPC non-player character dialogue by pressing enter.
AI NPC dialog is now muted.
So now those random comments from the bartender will not be heard, but I want to chat with some real people. By the way, I'll show you some other things in the settings menu.
Settings menu. Mute AI NPC dialog. Global volume.
We can change the global volume. So the music, all the background stuff, we can make that louder or softer. But we can individually adjust those. So sometimes what I like to do, especially if it's during the day, I'm doing work-related stuff for the company, I like to have this on in the background, but I like to turn down the music. So I'll just
Music volume.
go down to music volume and press enter.
Music volume 20%. Press .4 to increase. .1 to decrease. Press enter to exit.
So you know how in speech controls you can press .4 to make the BT speak louder and .1 to make it softer? Well, now that I've chosen music volume, I can do the same thing.
Decreased 15%.
I'm going to press
Decreased
.1
10%.
and you hear it getting lower
Decreased 5%.
and lower.
Decreased 0%.
There we go. I'm going to press
Exit.
Z chord. So now the music is totally down, but all the sound effects, oh, there's that guide dog. The sound effects are still there. I kind of like that. It's very nice background noise. So now I want
Martin
to.
says, meow.
I want to see. I want to see.
Keo says, lol.
Yeah. See, when you're doing these live demos, you never know what these guys are going to say. Okay, and those are not AIs, by the way. These are real people, including some of our customers that are in here right now. I want to see who's in here before I go into chat, so I'm going to press L to look around.
A quaint, yet lively tavern where townsfolk are gathered, talking, drinking, and playing games. It smells of roasted meat and spilled ale, and a fire crackles in a large stone hearth. You see these players in the room: Chris, Ben, Keo, Pretty Kitty, and Martin.
Okay, so we got Chris and Ben from our team, and we've got a few customers as well. So I'm going to go into chat mode.
Announcement: Austin has entered the tavern.
There's
Chat
Austin.
mode. Enter message. Press Z chord to exit.
Okay.
Literary braille input.
And the reason why I just have this set right now for
Announcement:
literary
Elijah has entered the tavern.
braille. Oh, cool. We got Elijah in the tavern. Hey, wow. We got a full tavern tonight. That's really good. Hope you guys are going to buy me some root beer. Okay, so now I can type in grade 2 braille, and I'll just say, hey there. With all the grade 2 braille contractions that I know and love, press enter.
Keo says, yay, full house tonight.
I'm going to type, hey, Keo.
Pretty Kitty says, hi, David. Pretty Kitty is Andrea. Martin says, get this man a root beer. Keo says, hi, David. Elijah says, this is a test. Ben says, hi, David. Keo says, it works.
All right, so
Chris says, hi, Austin.
by the way,
Keo says, sorry, lol.
I can review the chat history by pressing
Pretty Kitty
.1
says,
chord.
great way to practice braille.
So yes, it is a great way to practice braille, Pretty Kitty. I agree with you. So if I missed that message, I could press .1 chord.
Pretty Kitty says, great way to practice braille.
And I could keep going up
Keo says,
through the
sorry, lol.
chat history. Of course, I can press .4 chord to go
Pretty
down.
Kitty says, great way to practice braille.
So this is really cool. We've had one of our customers using the tavern to have sort of a trivia night. This was, I think, about a week ago. So I see a lot of potential for this and a lot of things that we could do here. If I want to exit the chat, I can press Z chord.
Hi, Chris. Chat mode closed.
And we can press
Keo says, hey, Chris.
E for environment to see what kind of things are in this tavern.
What would you like to interact with? Objects examine items in the room.
Let's see what objects are in the tavern.
Available objects interactions. Examine wooden bar.
So there's a wooden bar. I'll move down through the list with .4 chord.
Examine game tables.
There's a game table.
Examine stone hearth.
A stone hearth.
Examine long table.
A long table.
Examine BT braille.
And what do you know? There's a BT braille in the tavern. Let's press enter on that and see what we hear.
BT braille. An early adopter 20-cell BT braille sits on a table by a customer who is happily trying out new features.
Okay. So there you go. Now from here, there are a couple of other things we could do. We could press O to see what options
Mish 1000 has entered
are
the tavern.
available. So we'll press O.
Select a command. See chat.
So now if I press .4 chord, I can go through the list of options.
E interact.
E interact.
G go to another place.
G go to another place.
H help.
Help.
I inventory.
Could see what my inventory is.
M map.
There's a map.
S settings.
And S for settings. We saw a little bit of that.
Q quit. Mish
And
1000 says,
quit.
hey guys, it's Brandon. See chat.
Now, I'll just very quickly go to one of the other areas in the town.
E interact.
I'll press G for go.
Where town square, 0 players.
Okay.
No response from server. Please try
Let's
again.
go
Town
to
square, 0 players.
the town square by pressing enter.
Pretty Kitty says, hey Brandon, welcome. You are going to town square. Announcement, David Goldfield has entered the town square. Announcement, Elijah has entered the town square. Announcement, Martin has entered the town square. Announcement, Ben has entered the town square. Announcement, Chris has entered the town square.
Hey, you guys are
Success. Lol.
following me around the town, man. That's kind of cool.
Announcement. Keo has entered the town square.
So
Princess. Yes, we are.
yes,
Announcement.
yes.
Pretty Kitty has entered the town square.
So the
Chris
town
says,
square, of
"Talkers."
course, has different sound effects than the tavern. I hear some chickens and animals, and there's sound effects of people all around. I'll show you one more area. We'll press G for go
Where do
to,
you want to go?
and
Tavern.
let's
2
go
players.
to the wharf.
You are going to wharf. Announcement. David Goldfield has entered the wharf. Announcement. Martin has entered the wharf. Announcement. Keo has entered the wharf. Announcement. Chris has entered the wharf. Chat mode. Enter message. Press Z chord to exit. Announcement.
Hey there.
Mitch 1000 has entered the wharf. Announcement. Ben has entered the wharf. Keo says, "This is nice." Announcement. Pretty Kitty has entered the wharf.
It's also very
Martin
nice
says, "Lol."
sound effects to have in the background. I kind of like that. So I'll press
Announcement. Austin has entered the wharf.
Z chord exit chat.
Chat mode closed.
Now, even
Mitch 1000 says,
if you
"Lol."
exit the chat, you're still going to hear what the other players in the room or in this area are saying.
Ben says, "Hey there."
So, not that I want to leave you guys, but I'm
Keo
going to
says,
exit, and I'm going to do that by pressing Q to quit.
"Are you sure you want to leave BT Town?" "Yes, leave BT Town."
Okay, so if I don't, I can just press no. If I say yes.
"See you again soon. BT Town."
So that is a quick demo of what we have right now in BT Town. And the reason why I say what we have right now is because BT Town, like any town, is constantly growing, and new rooms and other interesting surprises that I can't talk about right now are going to be added. This has a lot of potential, and I see us doing a lot of things with this that maybe right now we can't do. Just as an example, maybe we could have special webinars or events specifically and exclusively for our customers. We might, I'd like to see some contests associated with it. I have a lot of ideas kind of growing in my head about ways that we could harness BT Town for our users. BT Town is available now on any BT Speak or BT Braille. Even if you don't have a service contract, we implemented this in the March update, and that update is free for everyone. So if you don't have the March 2026 update, I do encourage you to install it. It's as simple as pressing O chord for options, M for BT Speak Management, and U for check for updates. It'll say a new update is available. Do you want to install it? Press Y for yes. Could take about maybe 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more, depending on the speed of your internet connection. Your BT Speak will restart, and then you can dive into BT Town with options, applications, games, and BT Town. Again, this is what we have right now, but it is going to grow, and some exciting features are going to be added, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this town thrives. For those who are curious, BT Town is only available in our product, so there isn't, you can't access it on your phone or your computer. You really have to have a BT Speak or BT Braille in order to go to town in BT Town. So if you do have a BT Speak or BT Braille, we hope that you use it, and maybe you'll find some interesting ways of interacting with other users. As I said, we already had a trivia night. We had nothing to do with that, by the way. That was done by one of our users, and other users came in to join him, and it sounded like it was a lot of fun. So that's a sample of BT Town.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this.